If you've ever sat and thought, I could do with earning some extra money, or you'd like to change career, or you want to earn some more money in retirement, then I've got 12 ideas, real ideas that can make you some extra money. So keep watching. These 12 ideas to earn some extra cash will all be self-employed. Some will be quicker to make you money than others. I highly doubt any of them are going to make you rich or able to retire, sit back and do nothing. There always is exceptions to the rule, so that could be you, but it certainly hasn't been in my experience. Most of the jobs you can do from home, so if you're looking for something to fit in with existing work commitments, or you want something to fit in with family commitments, or you just want to do something as and when, these are probably a good idea for you. All of these jobs, I've either done them myself, I'm thinking about doing them, or I know someone who's done them. And the first one is something that I have done in the past, and that is an audio transcriptionist or an audio typist. Now what that means is somebody will send you a file with an audio recording, and they want you to type it up and send it back to them. Now there's several different areas where people want audio transcribed. You can do medical transcribing, where doctors may want insurance letters typed up, or legal stuff where you may have something from solicitors, something like that, or just general things. I remember doing some audio typing from some research students. They're probably doing their PhD or something, and they were going out and interviewing different people and recording the interviews, and then they wanted somebody to type those up. Some people want them typed word for word, even the ums and ahs that are in them, and other people will be a little bit looser with it. As a rule of thumb, it takes roughly an hour to type up 15 minutes of an audio recording. You probably do need some equipment. You would need a desktop computer or a laptop that is in good working order. You would probably need a good internet speed, so you can send and receive files. You would probably need some headphones. It's easier to listen to an audio recording through headphones, especially if you've got other people in the house. And I used to use a foot pedal that was easier to control the stopping, the rewinding and things like that. I found that easier than using a keyboard version of it, which you can get. Some companies you work for may prescribe the transcription equipment themselves, but I did buy my own when I was doing it. There are lots of companies online offering jobs for audio typing or audio transcribing. Just make sure they're reputable companies. Don't ever pay to fill in an application form. A good company won't ask you to pay for that. Just go onto Google and Google audio transcription jobs, and it will come up with something. But do your due diligence and make sure the company is reputable. The second money making idea I've also done, and I did this for about 8 years, and that was as a reseller. So what that means is I bought secondhand goods mainly from car booths and auction houses, and then I resold them for a profit on eBay. There are lots of different places you can do that now. That there's Vinted, there's Whatnot, there's Depop, there's lots of different places, but I mainly did it on eBay. I specialised in vintage china and vintage items like that. I used to pick up some really interesting things in auction houses. I once picked up a bundle of novelty musical boxes, which were really interesting. I think I picked up about 7 of them for 50 quid, and I must have ended up selling them for about 500. I will put a link to the eBay sales that I used to post on my blog when I did them, so you can have a look and see what type of things I sold. It's probably changed a bit now because I haven't done this for a while and the market has moved on, but it is still a viable opportunity to make some extra cash. even just selling your own stuff around the house, you're going to make some extra cash. But if you did want to turn it into a more regular thing, then you're going to need to go out and buy stuff. So car boots, auction houses, sometimes charity shops, Facebook Marketplace, those are the type of things you're going to pick up these things to sell. Remember, if you're picking up large items, you need to have the space in your house to store it, because they're not going to sell immediately. Well, most things won't sell immediately. So you do need to think about that, and you also need to think about packaging them up and where you're going to take them to ship them out. If you didn't want to sell online, you could also become a car booter and actually take the stuff you buy from auctions and car boot sales back to the car boot sale to resell there. That's obviously going to take up more of your day on a Sunday. It may be a little bit more time consuming for less money, but it is an alternative if you don't particularly want to sell online. The third money making opportunity, and I've also done this, and this is something I did when I took my daughter out of school about 20 years ago, and I taught her at home, and that's a whole other story. And I needed to have something to do to make money because I had been working, but I was made redundant around the same time. So I needed something to do. So I researched, and I actually found something called being a virtual assistant. Now, it was pretty new back then, but people are still virtual assistants, and they do all sorts of things. It's basically an online secretary assistant for small businesses and individuals who can't afford a secretary on a full-time basis. So they may just pay you for a couple of hours a month. They may want 30 hours a week. It just depends on the type of business they've got and how much they want you to do. But you could offer all kinds of different services as a virtual assistant. You could offer the audio transcription, you can offer travel arranging, diary management, bookkeeping. There's lots of different opportunities. Whatever you've got experience in, you could offer that as a service. You can offer it on places like People Per Hour, or Upwork, I think, is an American version of People Per Hour. Or you could even go out to local networking groups and advertise your services through there. I did used to get quite a lot of work doing virtual assistant work, and I did build up some regular clients who used to come back to me week after week after week. And I did that all the way through teaching my daughter from home. It fitted around everything nicely. Of course, you would need a PC or a laptop. You possibly would need a printer if people wanted things printed out. You need a good internet connection so you can send and receive files and emails and things like that. You could specialise as a virtual assistant, so you could specialise in a specific service, so you could specialise in diary management or travel arrangement, or you could specialise in a specific industry. So maybe you've got experience in the publishing industry, maybe you could hire yourself out as a virtual assistant for authors or editors, something like that. Or if you've got experience in human resources, there are lots of independent, self-employed human resource specialists who want to hire virtual assistants. I actually worked for an HR consultant back when I was doing it, and that was a regular income as well. So that was the third way to make some extra money. The fourth one is also something I've done in the past, and it sort of stemmed from being the virtual assistant, and this was a social media manager. So when I was doing virtual assistants, Twitter first came on board at the time, got launched, and I learned how to use Twitter for my virtual assistant business, and I got jobs through that. And I also learned how to do LinkedIn, and then I learned how to do Facebook, and I was using it for my own business. And some of my clients knew that, and they said, well, could you manage my social media accounts? So I ended up offering social media management services instead of the general secretarial services, and offered Twitter management. So I would create posts, create tweets. I know it's not called Twitter anymore, it's called X. I'm still going to call it Twitter. Create posts for them, manage the comments, search out opportunities. So if there was any, hashtags that were going around, you can search those and see if there was any opportunities for that client to get extra work. Answer any comments that came in on social media. I set up clients' LinkedIn profiles for them. So whatever social media channel you're experienced in, it may even just be for yourself you've been doing it. You know, you could do it for TikTok, you could do all the back end stuff of that, you know, help uploading it, putting keywords in, answering comments. You could do it for YouTube. There's lots of different social media sites, Instagram, Facebook. Whatever social media site is your thing and you're experienced in, you could offer your services as a social media manager to people who would want to pay you. Again, you could probably use People Per Hour and Upwork for that as well. Or, like I said before, go out to local networking groups and you will pick up work definitely from those. The fifth idea for making extra cash is something I dabbled in a little bit. I've never really made any money from it, but I know people that do, and that is to sell the craft items that you make yourself. So you may make wax melts, you might make candles, you might make jewellery, you might paint. You could even be upcycling items that you get from car boot sales and charity shops and things like that and want to sell them on. That's a really good idea. You could sell them on Etsy. Might be a little bit more work if you're selling pieces of furniture, because obviously you've got the shipping costs to think about there. But if you know it's paintings or wax melts, then Etsy is an ideal place to sell those. I think it was one Christmas, and I can't remember how long ago it was probably about 15 years ago. I did actually make some pom-pom items over the Christmas period. So I made some pom-pom Christmas trees and pom-pom wreaths and sold those. I didn't sell an awful lot. But if I was wanting to put some real effort into it, then you could actually make a good amount of extra cash on a run up to Christmas or something like that, Easter, you know, the general holidays, doing something like pom-poms. But whatever your own craft is, I'm sure you are able to upload your pictures to Etsy, your work to Etsy, and sell them through there. If you don't fancy selling things online, you can also go to local craft fairs, you know, pay to set up a table, put your wares out on the table and sell through that. Working in craft fairs is also a really good way to meet other people in your industry, and it's quite a sociable life to do that. You know, you can make real good friends in the crafting arena. My sister-in-law actually organises craft fairs up in Northumberland, and she has made a really good core of friends through that. And they go on holidays together, they go camping together, they go to festivals together with their crafts and stuff. So yeah, it can be a really good way of socialising as well as making a little bit of extra cash. The sixth way of making extra cash is through Amazon KDP. Now, if you don't know what that is, it is something where you create a book, either a puzzle book or a notebook or a planner, notepads, something like that. You create the book and then you upload your design to Amazon. They take care of all of the printing of it and the shipping out of it, so you don't have to worry about that, and you get a small amount of the money. So if you've watched my channel before, you'll know I created a self-care word search puzzle book and put it on Amazon. I think it was back in June now, and it's got 100 word search puzzles in there. This is a draft copy, which is why it's got the line through the middle. I sell that on Amazon for £7.50, and out of that I get £2.14. But it didn't really take me long to actually create it. I did the cover in Canva, Canva Professional. I did pay for Canva, and I also used something called BookBolt, which helps you create the actual pages inside. I will put the link to BookBolt down below. You can pay a monthly fee or a yearly fee, but it is really useful if you want to do something like that. I've also just created 4 notebooks, which I will be shown in a later video when they are live on Amazon, so you can do things like that. It is useful that Amazon prints and ships. You could also, create your own puzzle books and print them yourself and ship them out. But Amazon KDP is so useful if you don't want to have to do a lot of work, and it's something that can just tick over in the background and earn you a little bit of money. I haven't earned a lot of money on there, maybe £200 in the last 3 months, but that's from only getting £2.14 per book, and me not really doing anything once I'd uploaded it. So it is a good way of earning that little bit extra cash. The seventh way of making some extra cash I'm also doing is blogging. Now that is, if you don't know what a blog is, it's a little bit like an online magazine that you own and you create all the articles for. My blog is called thegeordiegrandma.co.uk and it is a wordpress.org blog. If you get a wordpress.com blog, then your whatever your website address would be, so the Geordie Grandma, it would be thegeordiegrandma.wordpress.com. And I didn't want that. But if you're a good writer, if you like writing and you have something to talk about, so you could create the blog around some kind of niche. You could do fashion, you could do gardening, you could do interior design, you could do travel. My blog is more of a over 50s lifestyle blog, so I do blog posts about lots of different things. And the way you make money on a blog is you get people who want to put a guest post on there advertising something that they sell, and they will pay you to have that post on your blog. I've gotten quite a few of those. They don't all pay you a lot of money. I've gotten anything from £15 for a guest post to £200 for a guest post. I don't get a ton of them, but they do they're steady throughout the year. So that is a good way of earning a little bit extra money with a blog. You can also put affiliate links in there. So if you were talking about, a handbag, and it was on Amazon, you could put a link back to that product on Amazon, and if it sells with your affiliate link, you get a little bit of commission from that. You can also put Google AdSense ads on your blog, so if anybody clicks on an ad that's on your blog post, then you get a little bit of money like that. It's not a ton of money, but all these little things add up and do make you a nice bit of extra cash. It is something you could actually turn into a full-time income. Probably all of these things are, if you really wanted to work at it and make it your full-time job, then you can do that. I used to be a member of a blogging group called Hobby to Heyday, where a lady called Emma Bradley teaches people how to build a blog and make money from their blog, and I will put the link to that down below. It is a paid for Facebook group, but it's really useful. They do put links to different job opportunities in there, so I will put it down below if blogging is something you're interested in. The eighth idea to earn extra cash is kind of similar to blogging, and it is YouTube. And yes, I obviously do YouTube. I did do a video a few weeks ago on 10 mistakes I've made as a small YouTuber, so I will put a link to that at the end of this video if you want to go and watch it, because it did take me about 5 years to actually start making money from YouTube. So when I say that, it took me about 5 years to get monetized and get paid for the ads that YouTube puts on the videos. To be monetized by YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers, which is really the easy bit. But then you need 4,000 watch hours in a year, in 365 days. That is the difficult bit. So hopefully that if you want to do YouTube and earn money, then those mistakes I made will help you not make the same mistakes. And you make money on YouTube in pretty much the same way as I described in the blog. You get money from the ads that people watch in your YouTube videos. You can get sponsored to put products in your videos. So I haven't done a lot of posts on YouTube where I've been paid for it. I'm more so getting free products in exchange, but I am now starting to ask for payment instead of just the product, because I can't make money out of just the products. It's just not going to work. So you can do that. So even if you haven't got 1,000 subscribers or 4,000 watch hours and you're not being monetized by YouTube, you could still make money by saying to people who contact you, because you will get people contacting you even under 1,000 subscribers who want you to promote their products. Yes, you'll promote their products, but it does take a lot of work and you want some payment, and you would decide on what payment that was. Some people ask for a little bit, some people ask for a lot. It just depends on what kind of audience you've got and how engaged they are with your channel. Again, to have a YouTube channel, you don't need a lot of equipment. You just need a mobile phone and I use a PC to edit my videos on, but I know people who edit them on their phone as well. So you just need to be a little bit savvy with that kind of thing. But there are lots of tutorials on YouTube that will teach you how to do it. If you are interested in really making YouTube into a full-time job or a full-time income, which is what I'm trying to do, then I highly recommend a guy called Sean Cannell. I'm actually a member of his Video Ranking Academy, which is full of useful information, and I have learned a ton from him, and my channel has definitely seen a growth since I joined his academy last September. But he has a free class at the moment that you can click the link. I will link it below. You can click the link and go and watch his free class that is on the YouTube strategy that he uses to get thousands of views. Now, he says he earns thousands of dollars from this strategy as well, which you possibly can as you get bigger. I wouldn't guarantee that you would make thousands of dollars or pounds from it right when you start. I'm certainly not making thousands of dollars, but I have found his course really, really useful. So I will leave the link below if you want to go across and have a look at that. The 9th way of making money is to be a writer. And I don't mean writing fiction books. I mean writing things like, you can write blog posts for other bloggers. You know, some bloggers are quite happy to say, yes, I'm happy for you to write me a post and I'll pay you for it. So that would be one option. You could also write your own ebooks. You know, if you've got some knowledge of some hobby or some interest of something, then you could write your own ebook and upload that to Amazon or wherever you wanted to sell it. When I was doing the social media stuff, I actually wrote an ebook to do with how to use social media for business. And that was on Amazon, and I actually had one that got picked up by a publisher as well, so that was really fun. I didn't make a ton of money out of it. I probably made about £300 in total, but it's quite fun to do, and if you're really serious about it and put the work into it, then you could probably make a decent amount of extra cash from that. You can write articles for online magazines, on online websites. There's lots of them out there. If you want some extra tips and information, there's a magazine called Writing. I think there's also one called Writers Forum that's full of good information on how to make money doing that and how to craft articles and how to learn all about writing articles and things like that. That's a really interesting magazine you could dip into. Or if you wanted to do it on a smaller basis, there's always sending readers' letters into magazines. I have made a few pounds doing things like that in the past. You know, sending in things your kids say to magazines, or having an opinion on a subject that was in the magazine. You can actually make a decent little bit of extra cash. You know, if you were saving up for a holiday or for Christmas, that would be a good thing to get into. But writing is definitely something that you could make extra cash with, so that could be something you would look at. The 10th way of earning some extra cash is something that could be a little bit out of a lot of people's comfort zone, and that is public speaking. So if you've got a hobby or an interest or some trade knowledge, some business knowledge that would be of use to groups that hold conferences or want people to come along and give a talk, that is also a way you could make money. I was doing a little bit of research online, and the WI always wanting speakers, and I found a list on there of people who offer their speaking services to the WI, and they were asking for payment. And I think the WI pays around £40 to £50 for a speaker, plus a little bit of travelling expenses. So that could be a good way of earning a little bit more money. Or if you have a business knowledge, then maybe you want to look at what conferences are in your area and offer your services for some extra cash to speak at one of those. If you like the idea of public speaking, but you think, oh, I'm a bit terrified standing up in public, I used to go to something called Toastmasters years ago, because I have done public speaking before at business events. I never got paid for it, but it was a way to sell my services as a social media manager at the time. So I did do public speaking, but I did find it terrifying. And I joined a local Toastmasters group that is a really friendly way of learning how to speak in public without feeling intimidated, because everybody's there for the same reason. You can get up if you want to, you don't have to. You write little speeches to give. They do something called table topics, where they'll give you the subject the second before you get up, and you have to speak just off the cuff. But it is a really good way to learn the trade of public speaking if that is something that you want to do. I did come across something online called speakerscorner.co.uk if you're in the UK. I'm not sure if there's an American version, but they do allow you to apply to be on their website as a speaker. There are some big speakers on there, but you never know. If you think you've really got something to say and you think you're good at it, then why not fill in the application form? I think it's definitely free to fill in. You don't want to be paying for anything. And just going back to the WI groups, the speaking topics on that list I found was everything from helping hedgehogs to aromatherapy. So any topic I think is welcome at a WI meeting. So we're getting down to the last two here. The 11th idea for making some extra cash or turning it into a full-time income is to create an online course. Now, I have created courses in the past. I've never sold them online. I've created courses that are actually taught as workshops offline, so physically, and I have taught via Zoom calls live, but I've never actually created a course that I've sold online. And I came across something called Teachable, where it helps you create the course and you can house it on their site and people pay. You don't have to be live, obviously, you've created the videos, but there's tons of ideas on Teachable if you wanted to go over and have a look and see if there's something you hadn't thought of that you think, I could do that actually. Maybe anything from cake decorating to houseplant upkeep. Might even be, teaching A-level subjects that you want to do. That could be useful. And there are other places other than Teachable. There's ones like Skillshare and Udemy that you may also want to look at. But if you think you've got something that you could teach somebody else that other people would want to learn, and you would be amazed at what people want to learn, then those are definitely something you should look at. So moving on to the 12th idea for making some extra cash. And this is something I haven't done yet, but it is something that I've got written down on my to-do list that I would like to do in the future. And that is to do printables, which are digital downloads. So people buy these, you just upload them onto somewhere like Etsy, you upload your design, and then somebody buys it and they print it off themselves. So things like that would be planner pages. So you might have meal planner pages or exercise planner pages, housework planner pages, travel planners. You could have trackers. You could have sticker sheets that people could print off at their own printers and cut those out. There may be checklists, colouring pages, puzzle pages. Somebody might not want a whole book. They might just want to buy like 5, something like that. You could even do worksheets for children if you've been a teacher before. That may be something that would be of interest. It's not going to take you a lot of time to create, I wouldn't have thought, if you use something like Canva. You can get a free version of Canva if you wanted to dabble in it, but make sure if you're using any of their photos or graphics from Canva, you would probably need a professional account, which I think is about £11 a month, and you would want to make sure that you have the rights to use those graphics if you're going to be selling them. If you're downloading them for your own use, then that's fine, but if you wanted to sell them, then you need to make sure that you've got copyright rights to that. And if you've never seen printables before, just go into Etsy and type in printables and it'll come up with a load of people who are selling that kind of thing, and you can get some ideas from there. Go onto YouTube and search how to do printables and you'll come up with lots of videos of people who are teaching you to do that, or showing you how to do that. They may have courses, they may have free online stuff you can look at, but there's always something and somewhere to find how to do something if you really want to do it. So those are my 12 ideas for making extra cash. Like I say, some I've done, some I'd like to do, and some I know other people who are doing them. So they are tried and tested methods of making money. They're not just pie in the sky ideas. If you do any of these and are making money from them, let us know in the comments below. I'd be very interested. I hope you found that useful. And like I say, I have a video on 10 mistakes I've made as a small YouTuber. So if you wanted to be a YouTuber, you don't have to make the same mistakes. And if you want to save money as well as making some money, then I also did a recent video on things to do that would give you the same buzz as retail therapy. They don't cost you anything. And I will also link that here as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found that interesting. See you again soon. Bye for now.